Okay, we're back for the fourth modified FRQ. This one deals with central bank sales of securities and the resulting effect on interest rates as well as on the price level. So, the first part of the question asks, if country Z's central bank in a banking system with a 10% reserve requirement, that's the amount that banks are required to set aside of all deposits, if the central bank were to sell $50 million of securities, what would the effect be on bank reserves, on the banking system? So this deals with the initial change of that $50 million sale. Remember, sell smaller, meaning if the central bank, in the case of the US, that would be the Fed, if they sell bonds, this is an example of an open market operation, or sell securities, that would reduce both what's in the banking system as well as what's in the money supply. So the initial change would be a decrease of $50 million as a result in the banking system, in bank reserves. The next part of the question says, what is the maximum possible change to the money supply as a result of this same $50 million sale? And here we have to consider not just the initial change, the initial $50 million decrease, but also the money multiplier. In this case, it works in reverse. So again, you're going to have a decrease of not just 50, but 50 million times 1 over the reserve requirement. So it's 50 million times 1 over 0.1. 1 over 0.1 is 10. So it's 50 million times 10, or $500 million decrease in the money supply overall as a result of this sale of securities. The next part of the question says, what is the impact of the central bank's bond sale on the equilibrium price level in the short run? So, if there is a decrease in the money supply, the effect of this will be that interest rates will increase. If interest rates increase, we would expect to see a decrease in both consumption and, more importantly, investment. So this sale of securities is designed as a contractionary policy, most likely in response to inflation. And the goal here is to reduce the amount of consumer spending and investment spending in the economy. So if that were to happen, aggregate demand would decrease. So again, if we were graphing this in order to demonstrate this effect, we would show this as a leftward shift or a decrease in aggregate demand. This gives us a new equilibrium price level, and that new equilibrium price level would be lower than the original equilibrium price level, which again is the point of engaging in contractionary policy. You want to lower the price level, you want to reduce inflation. So again, when you have higher interest rates, if we were graphing the money market, we would show that as a leftward shift of the money supply curve. That's going to yield a higher interest rate. Higher interest rates give us less investment spending, less consumption spending, lower aggregate demand, and therefore a lower overall price level. Finally, as a result of the price level change, the lower price level that we just discussed, are people with fixed incomes better off, worse off, or unaffected? And explain. So again, you can't just answer the question here, you have to explain. So the first thing to bear in mind is that people's real income is a function of both their nominal income, how much money they earn, but also the price level, what it costs to buy things. So if there is a decrease in the price level, essentially that means that things are cheaper. So with the same income, you can purchase more. So as a result, people who are on fixed incomes, that means their income doesn't change, will actually be better off with the lower price level. Because again, their real incomes are increased, prices are cheaper. So that's the explanation part. You have to say something along the lines of a lower price level means more buying power or an increase in real purchasing power with the same amount of fixed income. So that's the fourth question. Hopefully everybody's following along at home and giving yourself grades. If you did well, again, give yourself 100, give yourself a pat on the back, and keep up the good work. All right, till next time.